I'm going to show you how to use the funeral service selector to print off a contract. Now before you can do that, you have to go through a setup procedure. This has to be completed before you'll be able to print a contract from the IMS, and the areas that need to be set up include the contract categories, contract verbiage, taxes and miscellaneous, adding products, price list, and packages. Once that's all set up, you'll be able to print a contract. Now I'd like to show you an example of a contract from the system. I wanted to point a few of these things out before we get into it so you'll understand what I'm talking about. Here we have our logo. Here we have the name of the deceased on the contract, date of death, place of death, and date of statement. So you also see that we do have these categories: personal professional services, facilities and equipment, vehicles, cash disbursements over here, and we have our total. You'll also notice that throughout the contract we have what we call verbiage. We have the statement of funeral goods and services, agreement and acknowledgement, payment specifications. This is all editable by you, and that's why I wanted to show you this first so you'll understand when we get into this exactly what we're talking about. So that's what a contract's going to look like. So now we'll go to the actual setup of the contract categories. First of all, you have to go over to the system settings in the upper right hand corner, and this goes to our system profile, of course. From here we want to go down to contract management in the left-hand column. This will default to our contract categories. Now you have the ability to edit category names as well as to add subcategories to the list that's already available. I want to point out that what you are setting up is categories, not products that have a price attached to them. This isn't the spot for adding products with prices. We see that error on a regular basis. So we start with the first section, personal professional services. Remember seeing that on the contract? What the personalized value is here, if you don't want it to say professional services, you could have funeral home charges or funeral home services show on the contract instead. This is what the personalized values are, and that will be available for all the categories in here and the subcategories. You do have to have a subclass entered, and you'll see that our subclass under the professional services, we do have professional services, which once again, if you want to rename that, you would rename that here. You can add a new subclass if needed. Click Save, and you'll see you have another subclass. You can break this down, keep adding subclasses as many as required. You can remove subclasses simply by clicking on that X. It will ask if you're sure. Yes, I do. So you would go through the whole section and either rename, add your subclasses as to what you're going to need on your contract. Once you've got that all set, you'll click Save. Next, we're going to look at the contract verbiage. So we stay in the system settings and we're in contract management, then contract verbiage. And as you can see, remember the contract I showed you at the beginning. Here's our logo. Now you can upload a logo to your system. If you have a copy of your logo on your computer somewhere, you can click the Browse and upload it there. You can upload an image. You can remove this image if you like. Or you notice here that you can generate a header from your site profile. What that does will bring in basically a text of your funeral home name, location, and those sort of details. Automatically bring that in if you don't have a logo that you want to upload to your contract. As I mentioned, the verbiage. These sections where we had the statement of funeral goods and services, you can see that here. Read through that. If it works for you, that's fine. If you need to edit that in any way, shape, or form, or take this out completely and put in your own, this is where you do it. You can edit anything in here. Cash disbursements, if you'd like to explain those. So it comes up on the contract, so it's all very clear. You enter your information in here. Same with funeral home charges. Remember we changed that name from personal professional services to funeral home charges. That's where that is going to come up on your contract. And you can put in an explanation as to what the funeral home charges are. Same with facilities and equipment. This is not required, but you do have the ability to put the verbiage in there so that the client knows exactly what's going on and there's no question when the contract comes out. Next, we'll look at taxes and miscellaneous on the contracts. If you click on that, this section will let you set the taxes for your contract and how they're going to be added to it. See that we do have a package items taxes. You can apply it to all items, don't apply any tax, or apply to specific items. Apply to package price. We do have an annual late charge. We've got this set at 15%. Whatever you charge, put it in there, it will show on the contract. Now you may want to exclude packages from the contract view. If that's a situation, you would check that checkbox. Show package discount on contract. If you offer that sort of thing, you will check that checkbox. As for the contract tax, we do have our sales tax. This is what you put in. We've got a sales tax in here at 5%. We have an additional tax, our county tax, at 4%. You may have a third tax that you have to add in here because it's going to be on specific items, and this is how you set that up. Now you'll see that we have the contract tax and the additional tax 1 and an additional tax 2. Here's where you set what it's applied to. Do you have to tax funeral home charges? Do you have to tax facilities and equipment? Do you have to tax vehicles? Every place is different, so if by chance we had to tax the vehicle usage and we had to tax the funeral home charges, you can see we have the professional services. You will check what items are going to be taxed. Same thing all the way through for your merchandise, where caskets have to be taxed, burial containers, or stationery. Clothing might not have to be taxed in your area, so you would uncheck that. Only the items with the check marks will be taxed, and you do that for your first tax and the additional ones as well. We don't have the additional second tax, so we haven't got anything checked in there. Just make sure you go through here so that the contract will calculate all taxes as required. Now we have to look at adding products to our system. So we now go to our catalogs. Once your contract has been set up, you need to make sure all of the products and services you offer are added into your product database. And to do that, we're here in the catalogs, which does default to the products section. Now to edit a product, in any one of these sections, just click on the plus sign, and that will open it up. You'll see in our merchandise section, caskets, urns, keepsakes. Then we'll go down to urns, and we'll go to cremation urns. This will list all the items that have been installed in your system. If you're a Matthews customer, these are automatically inserted for you. If not, you'll have to add your own products, but we'll get to that in just a second. You'll see that if you click on an item, up comes the picture, the name. We have a code number here which you cannot alter. If anything's grayed out, you can't alter that. That's put in there by Matthews and it has to be in there. And the category has to stay as it is. The short description you can edit. But you'll notice that the specifications also grayed out. You cannot change any of this. Matthews will not let you change the specifications. You can change the name of the item. You can change the description, short description of the item. Call it whatever you like. But there are certain things that Matthews will not let you change. Obviously, they have to stay with that. So if you're going to be actually selling this product, if you are using QuickBooks, you have to give it the QuickBooks name. Put in your price. You'll see that you can make sure that it is taxable. If that's not checked, no tax will be charged against this item. Is it a cash disbursement? Most likely not. And disable price showing on the web. If you set up a web page with items from your catalog and you don't want to have the price showing on the web, check this. Otherwise, it will default to actually showing the price on the web page. And as mentioned, the short description. If you need a longer description, you want to get really involved and put something in, you would put it in there. Once you're happy with that, you would save it. Now, if you want to add a product into this category, just click Add Product. Now this should default to cremation urns, as it has. If you want to upload a picture, just click on the image box, and you'll get this pop-up. You go to Browse. Here's the item I want right here. I click Open. The item has been uploaded into the system, and we want this picture. So we go select this picture. Now, once you've uploaded your picture, you want to put in the name of the item. I don't have QuickBooks, so I don't have to worry about the QuickBooks name. I put in the code. Wholesale price if you require it. Retail price. It will be taxable. It's not a cash disbursement, and I want the price showing on the website. Category is already set. You put in your short description. And if you require, you can put in a longer description and specifications if you like. At the moment, we're not going to. So our item is in. We'll save that. And now if we click on cremation urns again, and we scroll down alphabetically, there you see our item is in the system. Should you want to remove any items that are in the database for the catalog, you can just click on the remove icon right there. That would wipe it right out. Should you ever find that there is a category missing that you need, there's a simple way to add that in. We'll close this to start, and we'll close these all down. But you'll see that we do have the add category option. Just click on that icon. You would put in your new category name, and then you'd put it in the classification. Same with adding a product. You can do that very quickly. You don't have to sift through the whole system. Just click on Add Product, and you'll get that same page that we added our cherry wood urn in with. You would select your image, put in all the pertinent information, and of course you'd want to set the classification for it too. This may not be a cremation urn that you're putting in. You would be maybe adding on add-ons ceremonies. Select the category, and away you go. Put your item in, save it, and that's how you add a product to the system. So once you've edited all the items in the catalog and added in the products that you require, we'll close this down. You have to go to the price list. The price list is a complete list of all the products that have been added to your product database. There'll be a list of all the categories in here. So what you do is you go to the category that you need to work with. And I'm going to go to the cremation urns. I click on that. It'll open up all the product in that category. And you'll see some are pink and some are green. If it's pink, it means it's not included on your GPL. If it's changed to green, then it is in your GPL. Now I want to go down and find my cherry wood urn that I've just added in here. And you can see it right there. That was the product that we added in. And you can see it's not on my GPL at the moment. So we're going to edit that to make it available for a contract. So it automatically populates the name, the description, short description that I did put in, the price. Very important that you have to check this has quantity. Now the has quantity signifies to the system that you do have it available. Whether you have it in stock or not, or you can get it, you do have to have a quantity so that you make it available on your contracts. As soon as you check that, you'll see that a max quantity field pops up. If the product can have a quantity greater than 1 on the contract, then you would enter in the maximum quantity. As an example, you would most likely set the max quantity for caskets to 1 and for urns to 1, but for keepsake items you might set the limit to 100 or more. But for this we're going to put in 1. That's the most they can get on a contract. Our classification is urns. Our priority is how it's going to appear on the list in the contract. We're going to put this at priority number 1. And we want to show the description on the contract. We will check that. Always show on the contract. You place a check mark inside this box if you need a product to display on the contract, regardless of whether or not it was chosen for this contract. If it's not chosen, it would come up on the contract, but in the price range, it's going to say NA. So if you need that, then you would check that. We'll save this, and we'll make sure that we've checked our GPL. And there you see it changes to green. So this item is now available for our contracts. And you will do this for all the items in your system. Next, we'll move to the package builder. Packages are a group of products and services you sell. Only if you sell packages will you need to create them within your system. If you don't sell packages, you don't have to worry about this section at all. And you'll see that we do have some packages created here already. We have our heritage package. We also have a simple service package, a basic package. This will be blank when you first start up, so you'll want to create your own packages. So what we're going to do to show you how to do that is you'll go up here to where it says Add Package. First thing you want to do is you'll give the package a name. And once again, if you use QuickBooks, you'll have to give it a QuickBooks item name. You'll put in a package description, whether it's a basic, what have you. You put in your package price. and whether or not items are removable from the package when you're adding it to the contract. Sometimes you'll put in a package, but somebody said, yes, I love all that, but there's 2 items I don't want. You can remove them if you check this. Otherwise, nothing is removable from the package. It's pretty much written in stone as to what the package is. If you find that after a while the package has run its course and you're not going to be offering it anymore, you just deactivate the package. You come in here at any time and edit that. You'll find this, like I say, if it becomes to a point where you don't offer that package anymore, but you don't delete it because you need that in your records for your bookkeeping, that the package was purchased and who purchased it and that sort of thing. So if you're not going to be using it anymore, you deactivate it, but it stays within the system. So you can either save the package, or if you have a former package, you can edit the package. What will happen is you will go through once you've started your package, and you'll start selecting what items are going to be in that package. And you can see in our heritage package that we have the basic services of the funeral director and staff, embalming, other body preparation, and it goes on down through the list, items from our catalog that we've put in this package. And basically you just check. We're probably going to need that family that I've been seeing in this package too. I don't know why that was left out. And it will automatically default to 1. If you need more, you see this item has a max quantity of 5. The hearse, a max quantity of 1. So this will automatically do that for you. But you just check the products that are going to be in the package. Once that's done, you save the package and you're all set. So now this package will be available when you're putting together a contract. So now that we've set up our products, set up the price list, put together any packages that we're going to offer, it's time to go over and put together a contract. So to do that, we'll go back to Main and get our list of records. We have to do a contract for Lucille Miatello. Once the record opens, you go to Funeral Service Selector. Now this defaults to the packages that you have available. If you put together packages, you'll see our heritage packages here. We were just looking at that. We have our simple service package. If you're not offering packages, this is not going to come up. If you do offer packages, this is what you're going to see, and you can just select the package, and that's pretty much it. But we've already created a quote here. We're going to create a new one. So we go up to Contract Options, and we go Add a New Quote. So you have to give the contract a name. And the contract type is at need. It's a standard adult service. You do see other options here. Invoice, not yet. Alternate payment text, we're not going to deal with that. Payment due by. Generally, you'll select the calendar to pick a date for this. Discount amount, if you are applying a discount to this at all, you would put that amount in here. The discount type is either a dollar value or a percentage of the price. The system will calculate that for you, whatever you put in. There's no discount on this one. Notes, you may want to put in a note as to why you're offering that discount on this particular quote. If you have additional tax that you have to add all of a sudden, you would put the additional tax name in here and the additional tax value in percent. Now you definitely want to apply sales tax, and you may want to apply county tax as well, so you check that to make sure all the taxes are covered. Amount in trust, there wasn't any for this one. Insurance company, if the insurance company was involved. The amount from the insurance company, if there was a payment. And that the insurance either has been paid or hasn't come through yet. Your reasons for embalming, if you need this to appear on the contract, you would put that information in this field here. And cash disbursement list. Keep track of that if you need. Once you've got this all set up, you click on Save. And now we start picking the items for this contract. So we start with the professional staff and services. And you'll see it does come up as funeral home charges. We had changed that. So now we'll select items. Our total here, packages selected, none. Total of selections, nothing, subtotal. But you'll see as you select that automatically populates. And embalming, obviously, max quantity for that is going to be 1. Basic services of funeral director and staff, we'll need that. Maybe cosmetic services, another body preparation. And you'll move on down and select the items that you need from that category. Then we go over to facilities. And we need the staff for visitation, and we need the staff for service. As you see, our total keeps adding up. Vehicles, any transportation. We do need the hearse. We do need the family limousine. A bigger family, so we're going to need 2 limousines. And you'll see that the price populates there. Merchandise section, this can get a little long. These are all our caskets in here. As you scroll on down through, burial containers. And here's our cherry wood urn that we had entered. We'll choose that. Anything you need from your miscellaneous file. I think the family did like that balloon release idea. We'll select that. Cash disbursements. We'll need a death certificate. And we're going to need a few additional ones. And you'll see that we do have a max quantity set quite high here because the family wants 5 additional copies. And that adds up. We'll need the clergy honorarium and opening and closing of grave. So we've selected all the items we need for this contract. We now go to the summary view. And there you have an idea of what's been in here. These were the items that I mentioned that if you have to always show on the contract, but it wasn't selected, how it comes up as an NA because it was not selected. And then you'll see all our charges. All of a sudden, they say, oh, we have a product you haven't listed. We really want to get it. What are we going to do about it? To go back to any section of the items available, and you don't have a product in your system, you don't have to leave the contract and go back into your catalog and enter it. You can create a new product on the fly with this option right here. And you'll see you'll get the pop-up. Put in the name, short description, your price, that you do have quantity. It's like setting up an item in your GPL. So you can add a product on the fly if need be right in the middle of the contract. You don't have to leave it and go back and go through all the steps in the other part of the system. You can just do it right here, and the item will be created and available for this contract, and you can put it in. We go back to summary view. You may also run into a situation where all of a sudden the price has changed. On our balloon release, we've just got word that it's gone up an extra $50. So what you'll do is you go up to edit this quote. And when you click on that, you'll notice that we now have an editable field here. We're going to change this price to $200. Click on update quote. And you're done. So you can change prices on the fly if need be as well. So everything is checked out at this point. We'll now go to the contract view. And this is what your contract is going to look like. Here's our verbiage, much like the one I showed you at the start of the video. Acknowledgement and agreement. So far, it's looking good. Now, we're not completed with this contract yet because we have several options here in the contract options. You can edit the quote details, the billing section. This will bring up all family members entered in the family section of the record because they may want to be splitting the bill. So as you select, you'll see there's our total for the contract. And as we add more members in that are splitting this bill, you'll notice that it shows the amount that each one is going to be responsible for. The SIN, or Social Security number that you put in here, obviously is a way to keep track of who it was that's supposed to be paying for this and make sure that you get your money. You can also add a family member if they haven't been put into the system to start with. If they've come into the picture, you'll see that it's going to add another relation. You get right to that window where you can add a relation. You would add in all their information, save it, and then they would be available as well for billing. So at the moment we have 3 people paying for this. Once you're happy with that, you would just click on Save. We also have social services that you can add in social service information into the contract. Down payments. Currently no down payments on this option, so we're going to add a new down payment. As somebody's already put down $2,000. Now, as you'll see, that has popped into our contract right there. There was a down payment already of $2,000. It subtracts it from the total. We're down to this now. QuickBooks billing. You have to put in your pertinent information to send this over to QuickBooks if you do use QuickBooks. Now there's also the family share. Family share allows you to set what each family member is going to pay for. So right now, John Dobson is paying for these items. And now I'm going to pay for a few items myself. I'm going to pay for this. And you'll see that as soon as you do that, it's going to create another contract. Because you will actually have to print out as many contracts as family members share this, right? So if you're going to bill 2 family members or 7 family members, each one is going to get a contract. So you will fill this information out and it will come up with a new contract and that person is going to be responsible for. And finally, you can print the contract. Now the contract comes up as a PDF file, and there it opens up. And there's all our information, the funeral home charges, the embalming, basic services, and so on and so forth. All the items are there with their short description. All our NA items that did have to show on the contract, whether they were selected or not. We didn't have any miscellaneous items. And you can see the billing information. Because we did the family share, it gives the name. Of course, we didn't get that social security number. We could be in trouble there. But the amount that each owes and their pertinent information. So you would obviously save that on your computer to save that file and, of course, print one out. And that sums up the contract generator. If you have any questions about anything you've seen, you can contact your project manager at FrontRunner Professional, or of course you can always send an email to support@frontrunner360.com.